Okay guys, so welcome to another brand new video on my channel today, and of course we are doing our very first original versus remake of 2025. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, this is the first original versus remake of 2025, and it is for Nosferatu. Of course, Nosferatu came out in America, the 2025 one, in December. However, we got it in January, so hence why the first original versus remake of the month is this, and the best part is the original is a first time watch for me as well. So this is the 1922 silent movie. I struggle saying that year, and I struggle to talk today. Is 1922, the original black and white film, up against the very modern 2025 Nosferatu. So with this one, I won't be going into too much detail on the remake because I have done a full review for it. So I'll briefly go over it at the end, but this will probably mainly focus on the original and my thoughts on that. So yeah, if you're new to original versus remake, this is where I also get you guys involved. And I put up a poll for you guys to vote. Now, this was done short notice. Literally, I only posted the poll yesterday. So not as many votes as there normally would be. But obviously, future on, there will be. But you guys went for the original. Out of the 14 votes I got, the original was the one at the top. But as I say, this is a question of which one do I prefer? Do I prefer the original or the remake? So let's get into my thoughts on the original. Okay, let's start by talking about the original. So the original film for me is a first time watch in the sense of a silent movie. I've seen a couple of black and white pictures, but I've not actually seen a silent film. So this was a first for me. So it was certainly different. But yeah, so with this, I will say for what they had at the time, I think they did a really good job. I actually enjoyed it. It's not like something I'd be drawn to a lot. But for a first time watch, not that bad. I enjoyed it. I liked the fact that they sort of you had to read the text and you had to go with that. I will say it was a bit weird to have some speech text after no one's moved their mouths, but that was just new and different for me. But I think for what they had at the time, they didn't do a bad job, honestly. Especially since that was near the beginning of film. So the fact that obviously this was silent picture, there was no sound. The only thing was that there was music. That's all you had. So I will say some of the music was a bit weird at points. So where it was supposed to be a bit tense, the music kind of went a bit comedic in a sense. It was very weird. But I think what they did is they did something simple but nice at the same time. It was good to watch. It was nice to experience that part of film because I have loved film for years. And this is one of the decades I've never been before. You know, I've never watched a silent film. So that was nice. And I like the fact that the text, like the words, the texts, was sort of all fancy and I like that. I will say without sound, it is certainly, in a weird way, a little bit funnier as well. Because some of the facial expressions in this did kind of make me laugh. Like at one point you have Hutter, where he picks up a book and he just pulls the weirdest face, and it just makes me laugh every single time. I watched that bit and then I just thought, I need to watch that again because was that meant to be that way? And it was, so it made me laugh twice just rewatching it. And it was quite weird to see all the facial expressions because I feel like when you've got no sound, you sort of you have to make the bigger expressions, which I think is fun. I reckon they had a lot of fun on set doing that. Nosferatu himself looked creepy, but at the same time, he had some funniness to him in his look. So there's a couple of funny moments where you're seeing him in the distance and it's just the look he pulls and things like that. So I think with silent movies, I think back then something like Nosferatu would have creeped people out. But I think because of how modern things are and how creepy some films have gotten over the years, I feel like with this one, it just sort of lingers between the possibly creepy, possibly funny kind of angle. But say it was also as well, I will say, because you don't get any speech, the text on the screen actually stays long enough for you to read it, which is really good. I also noticed they did some stop motion as well, just a little bit, like a couple of little frames were sort of like stop motion a bit. But yeah, overall, for my first silent movie experience, I actually enjoyed it. If you haven't watched a silent movie, go onto YouTube and watch the original Nosferatu, because I think that's a good way to experience it. Like I said, the music is just the weirdest part for me, because one minute it sounded funny when it was in a serious scene, and then when it was a funny scene it got a bit serious. So it's very weird. That's all I'm going to say. But no, I got the plot even without the speech, like without hearing them talk, to which I'd love to have known what they sounded like what accents would have had and things like that. Obviously we'll never know, but I think it's fun. I'd love to be able to travel back in time to these film sets just so I can hear what kind of accents they have when they talk. But no, for my first black and white silent film, I'm glad it was this one. So if you're a film buff like me and haven't gotten to that part yet, definitely recommend this one. It is free on YouTube fully at the moment as of me filming this. Whether it will come off, I don't know, but the account that it's on has been up for 9 years, so I highly doubt it's going to go anywhere. But yeah, so that is my thoughts on the original. Now on to the remake. So, like I said, I have done a full review for this on my channel, so I will not be going completely in-depth with this. But I'll just give you the gist and basically just say that I really enjoyed the remake, surprisingly. It shocked me because of the fact of when I'd seen the trailer for it, I thought it looked quite good. And like I said in my review video, I actually haven't seen any of Robert Eggers' previous films, but I've heard they've got rave reviews. So it's sort of like, I didn't want to go and believe the reviews for those, and then it turns out this wasn't good. But then, of course, everyone in America got to see it first in December and ended up enjoying it a lot. I think it shocked a lot of people. But yeah, with this one, you've got sound is in the sense of speech. So there was a lot more speech. I also feel like the remake didn't copy it, but it followed the story and added bits to it, and I like that. I feel like with the remake, it added more tension in the sense of you had the family, the friends of Ellen and Hutter, sort of in this remake, they had more to lose, and it was nice to see. And it was nice to see that not only they followed the plot in the sense of how Nosferatu is, but they tweaked it and they added some things to it. They copied some things. So I like it when a remake at least does that, where it doesn't fully copy it, but gives it that new feel. And I feel like if you're someone who liked the original, I think you could like this. Maybe not as much as the original, but I feel like you could like this because it is a modern retelling. It is not copying and pasting. It is just literally, it's the same plot, but they don't even they recreated a couple of the scenes, but it wasn't shot for shot. It was all new and different, and as you can see where the extra time's been added on, and just certain things like that. And I like the fact that also with the remake, the lighting for the cinematography in that, black and white pretty much. It was sort of like a grey, dismal colour. Sometimes it had a bit of light to it, but I like how it sort of honoured the original in some way. So I think that was really good. But the big question is now, which one do I prefer? Do I prefer the original or do I prefer the remake? I am going to be completely honest here. It's probably going to be recent bias-y, however you say it, recent bias. And I am going to have to go for the remake. I really enjoyed this film. Do not get me wrong, I really liked the original. It quite surprised me, actually, that I did enjoy it, because I thought, because it's not going to be speech, maybe I won't. but I did, and I think it's a good first film to go for. But I'm glad I've seen it. I feel like my cinema experience has expanded now a little bit more. I do kind of want to watch a couple more silent movies just to see how they're like. But yeah, I'm going to have to go for the remake. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that they expanded on things. I like the fact that it creeped me out a bit more. So, like I said, maybe it is because back then things like that would have been creepy. But now it's sort of like more, a little bit. But the original is history. So if you are a film buff like me and haven't gotten to that far yet, definitely watch the original. But for me, I'm going to have to pick the remake for now. Who knows, maybe over the years when I've watched them a couple more times, maybe then that'll change. But for me right now, the remake is my favourite. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not sure what my next original versus remake will be. I haven't fully decided yet. But I know that one of the ones I'll be doing this month is The Wolfman. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. It might be next week, it might be the following week. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And leave me your comments and thoughts on the original and the remake. Which do you prefer? Why do you prefer the other one? Maybe you just haven't seen the remake yet. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time.